Today's guest is Gab Saper, a New York City stylist and the founder of The Wardrobe Editor. Gab helps women find and embody their authentic style. In today's episode, we talk about why shopping isn't where you find your style and how to identify what actually feels like you, and why dressing authentically is one of the fastest ways to filter the right people into your life and the trickle-down effects of dressing with intention, even on the days that no one will see you. Gab is currently taking on new clients, and you can find her at wardrobeeditor.com. Welcome to In Alignment. I'm Annie.
And I'm Marissa. You were meant to find this today, and we're so glad you're here.
Welcome to In Alignment, Gab. We are so excited to chat with you today.
Thanks for having me, ladies. I'm very excited to be here and dive into all of this fun stuff.
Amazing. Well, you do some pretty interesting work. This is going to be a fun conversation. I'd love if you could start by just introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about the work that you do.
Absolutely. My name is Gab Saper. I'm a New York City-based personal stylist. I work with millennial women, and what I like to say is that I help them find the coolest, hottest version of themselves through what they wear.
What does that mean? I've always struggled with my own personal style, and I'll go to Zara and I'll be like, oh, what are the trends? And that's what I'll buy for that season. But I've never really taken the time to figure out what feels good to me or like how I want to dress to express my authentic self. For somebody who has never thought about their own personal style, where do you start with clients?
Yeah, that's a great question, Annie. And I think a lot of people do what you do because it doesn't feel as hard. And it's kind of like just choosing from answers in front of you rather than going inside yourself and finding the answers, which is why I always say that shopping is not where you're going to find your style. So when I work with clients, and this is advice I give to, people who are just starting off, like you said, it's really about looking inward and thinking about what excites you. So what I tell people is to just start collecting images in whatever way works for you. A lot of people default to make a Pinterest board, but maybe, if you're really good at drawing or you like taking, you like writing things down, it's whatever method is going to work for you, or, taking pictures of regular people on the street in as not creepy a way as possible. Collect as many images as you can and try to use images not just from today, this month, this season, this year, but also look back at, I always recommend, I'm a big pop culture girl, so I always recommend people look at like old movies, from other eras, maybe movies you watched when you were a kid or movies from before you were born, and TV shows, album covers, things like that, to see different references that are going to make you feel something in your body. Like, I know when I look at a photo, like I remember as a kid, reading Vogue and seeing there are certain images that are like still in my heart and mind that when I first saw them, I felt a sense of awe. Like everything slows down and you're like, oh my God, that does something to, even if it's like some crazy ball gown you're not going to actually wear in your real life. I think it's really important to just collect the images that make you feel something. And then from there, put them all together and you can distill, what are the common themes? Oh, there's a certain shade of blue that's running throughout this, or there's something about the mix of masculine and feminine that is running throughout this. It could be anything, and it's probably going to be something you didn't even think to put together. But starting with images rather than actual items is a really good way to do it, because it's not letting what's currently in store dictate what your personal style is.
I'm curious how women can identify like what feels like them when they look at these images, because I actually have been thinking about this myself. I save a lot of stuff I see on TikTok. I have Pinterest, and sometimes I find myself reacting to what makes someone else look really good and confident. And I have this hodgepodge of like Lower East Side cool girl, preppy, more like collegiate. And I sometimes end up buying these things and I never wear them because I really did like it when I saw it on this other person.
Yeah.
But I have trouble identifying what is me versus what I think looks cool when I see it.
Right. Yeah. So when you're going through that process of like collecting all the images, it's really important to not then just be like, okay, I'm going to copy all of these things. Similarly to how if you see a ball gown and you think it's really beautiful and it moves you, most people are not wearing ball gowns in their regular life. But what is it about it? Is it the color? Is it the proportion? Is it even just the vibe? Like Lower East Side cool girl and preppy obviously are super different, but there might be some commonality in like, the tailoring or the proportion or the silhouette that is across both of those. So don't just like immediately copy, but rather step back a little bit and be like, okay, but what is it about this photo I like? Maybe you just actually really like the Lower East Side cool girl's boots. You don't need to buy those weird long jean shorts and that like little gray ribbed tank top she's wearing. It might just be the motorcycle boots. And then you're going to wear them with your like preppy tailored dress. And that is going to be actually what feels like Marissa, is the combo of the two.
That's really interesting. How do you start working with the client? Is it like a questionnaire? Do you have them go build a visual board?
Yes. Yeah. So this is the first step, and it's the most important step, because all the work we do after this part ladders back to this. So we're using all of this stuff as a reference point. So I have a workbook with a lot of questions, logistical things like, what are the 5 pieces you wear the most? How often do you shop? What are your favorite brands and stores? But also things like, what did you love to dress up as when you were a kid? If you could trade closets with any celebrity and everything would fit, who would that be? So it's a mix of inspiration and kind of logistical information sharing. And I also, within that workbook, have a bunch of pop culture references for them to just respond to, just so they can say like, oh, I love her style. I wouldn't wear it, but I like it. Or like, oh my gosh, I wish I could wear this exact outfit. Or I despise this. It's horrible. Don't put me in anything even slightly resembling it. All of that is really helpful information to me. And then, in addition to the workbook, they show me photos of their current closet or current outfits, and then do a mood board of things that excite and inspire them. And I give the instruction, like, it doesn't have to be exact outfits you want to copy, just like things that make you feel something. And then it's my job to translate all of that into an actual wardrobe that makes sense for their life, for their budget, and for their body and taste.
I was going to ask about the body part. Do you think that people gravitate towards styles that they would feel comfortable in naturally? Or is it like a 2-step process where you come up with visual aesthetic and then you help them say, oh, this would be very flattering on your body type?
It's a great question. And it happens both ways. Like some people, I look at their entire board and it's all, let's use like my own body type as an example. Like I'm 5'2", I'm a size 8, I'm curvy. And someone with my body will then pin like only things that are on 6 foot tall, like thin models. And that's happening less and less, which is good. I've also altered my instructions a little bit over the years, so I think that's helping. But in that case, when we talk about it, I will always bring that up and be like, okay, all these photos you pinned are of people who look nothing like you. Let's set expectations that even if I found a version of this that fit you perfectly, it's not going to look the same. And B, like, that meme that's like, is he hot or is he tall? Or like, do you like him or is he tall?
Yes.
The fashion equivalent of that is like, is it cute or is she skinny? Or like, is it cute or do you like her hair? Or like something about her that you don't have that has nothing to do with you and it feels aspirational because of something not about the outfit. So that's something I always dig deeper into when I'm seeing that pattern of like everything they're putting on their board is really different than their body. And then other people, it's a mix of different body types. And when that's the case, I know that's not playing into it. Because I tell people also to pull like from, celebrity and movie and TV. Like, for example, a board that a client submitted to me this week had like some, clothing items where it was like the fit model who's super thin and tall. And then like Kelly Clarkson and Pink and like, some Broadway actors and like a little bit of everything from a body type perspective. So I'm like, okay, this is not a, do you like him or is he tall situation.
That's so funny. I experience that all the time because I'm 5'4" and models typically are much taller than I am. And I order things and they just they don't like land in the right place on my body. And that like matters for how you feel in it.
Absolutely.
I also want to ask you because I think for a lot of people are maybe like, I'm into fashion or I'm maybe not so into fashion. For your clients, what does getting a really good wardrobe and dressing like your authentic self, how does that impact them? What is kind of their motivation for working with you? And like, how do you see that impacting their lives?
Yeah, it's really interesting. The motivations, there are many. I would say there are a few like common buckets though. One is like something has changed dramatically in their life. A lot of it, I see a lot of women who are like, okay, I had my last kid a year ago. This is my body now. My clothes don't fit, don't work, don't feel right. Also logistically, like I'm not wearing heels and going to the club anymore. I need all my clothes to be machine washable and I need all my dresses and skirts to cover my butt if I bend over to pick up a toy. So there's like that kind of thing. Or like, I moved industries and the dress code is totally different, or I moved to a different city and the weather and the vibe are really different here. So that's like a very kind of obvious, easy one. And then another one that I see a lot that is, I really love because it's like really deep work is like, I just feel bad in my clothes all the time and I'm done. So sometimes that is, they felt that way their whole life. Sometimes there was a shift maybe 10 years ago in their body or their lifestyle or just how they feel about themselves. And, they went to therapy and they started eating healthy and taking care of their skin and doing all this stuff. And the clothes just felt too hard. So they just didn't do it. So that's really interesting because it's kind of like the last puzzle piece for those people. And they're like, okay, I feel really good about myself. I've like established myself in my career. I have decorated my apartment. I feel really good in every aspect of my life. And my clothes don't make me look like the person I feel like. So we got to fix that.
How much of it do you see is related to body image and like lack of self-confidence in their own skin? Because I think
a lot
hide through clothes. Like for me personally, if my weight is up or I'm really bloated or I'm PMSing or whatever it may be, I notice that I wear baggier clothes. Like I don't wear the clothes that I love in my closet because I kind of want to like hide or I'm just not comfortable. So I like, try and feel good. And my mom always yells at me for this. She's like, just buy some jeans that are a bigger size. If your weight goes up a little bit or you're really bloated, like you can still, and I'm like, no, there's no point. And that's a me thing. Like I have to work on that because I have a tendency to want to hide and like just not try if I don't feel good in my body. So I'm wondering how much of it is a body image thing. And what do you do if that's the case to help women feel confident to express themselves fully and wear what feels really good to them, no matter how they feel in their skin?
Yes. Annie, your mom nailed it. And when you said my mom yells at me, I like tensed up because a lot of my millennial clients, like their boomer moms are like, you have to look beautiful and flattering and like attractive to men at all times. Like I'm like undoing the work that these boomer moms are doing. So I'm yay to your mom for giving you the advice of just buy bigger pants. I had a client recently actually who I worked with who was telling me that during certain phases of her cycle, she gets really, really bloated. And she's like, I'm like fully a size bigger. I was like, great, let's buy you 3 pairs of pants. They're one size bigger, like of the exact same pants you have. This is like the luteal phase section of your closet. It's totally fine. I think fit is actually, people use fit wrong to deal with their body image stuff. Like what you're saying is really common and really understandable. Like I'm just going to hide in a big sweater, but like when things fit you better, you look better. There's definitely, the like Olsen style oversized on purpose thing. And that's like a style choice. But when you're wearing things that are oversized because you're uncomfortable in your body, it is obvious and it looks bad.
I think similarly, getting attached, like I think we've all been guilty of keeping clothes that don't fit us anymore with like this aspirational, I'm going to fit into this again. And I've found it to be really a release to get rid of things. It's like, I'm 10 years older than I used to be. Like, I don't need to be the same size. My body has changed. Let's like having clothes that fit. No one's seeing the size on the outside. When they fit, you look so much better than when you're trying to like squeeze your body into something that does not fit you anymore. It's like it's so freeing to get rid of that.
Oh my gosh. Everything you just said, music to my ears. And I tell people this all the time. Another thing is like from the like toxic diet culture of the like 90s and 2000s that a lot of us grew up in, like the way like I've Google imaged like old National Enquirer and People headlines and stuff. And they would literally talk about celebrities like, she's a size 8. What a cow. Like, there was a lot of messaging around us that like your size is directly correlated to your value as a human being. And we got to let that go because it's not true. And what's like good and bad is that I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but sizing is more inconsistent now than it's ever been. So even if your body stays exactly the same and you hold so closely that you're a size 6 and that's your whole identity, too bad, babe. At some stores, you're going to be a 10 and at some stores, you're going to be a 4, regardless of what your body has to say. So while that makes shopping harder and more annoying, it's also, I think, a good opportunity for us to use the silver lining of that like let go because your size literally isn't going to be the same. And the only thing that is your size is that size that fits you in that garment. And your size is going to be different in every single thing. So making your identity about being a size 6 is not doing anything good for you.
But I think it's often too, it's why is it our identity? Why do we feel safer if, like, I think that so often if you buy a jean size that's a low size, then it's like, okay, I'm good. Like, I'm pretty, I'm safe, I'll be liked. Like,
exactly.
It's like a safety element. And I am guilty of this. I'm not like, I am 100. I've struggled with my weight over the years. I've struggled with emotional eating. I've struggled with my, like, some serious GI stuff that has led me to be really bloated and have definitely distorted body image. So, like, I say all this from a point of deeply relating to it. But I really want to get into this part of your work of, sometimes, like, if other elements of my life aren't going well, I'm scared, I feel unsafe, there's a lot of uncertainty. It's like, okay, well, at least I'm thin. Or like, oh, well, at least these clothes fit me. And it's one step deeper to actually solve for the root of that. Why is my safety defined by this? And a lot of that, as you mentioned, is these societal norms that smaller was better, but it's not. Like, that is not a truth. So part of your work is helping dismantle that belief and help women love themselves at literally any size. But I think the second element of your work, which is the most expansive part, and it probably trickles down to create change in every other aspect of their life, is take off the sizing in clothing and just how do you want to dress? Like, how do you want to express yourself to the world through what you wear without size mattering? And I think that that is so cool because you're like, it has nothing to do with size anymore. It's like truly just how you want to express yourself.
Yeah. Wow. I have so much to respond to with that. Something I often explain to people in the first part of what you were saying is like, we've been conditioned just by society that like smaller is better. There are a lot of reasons for this. This is like a huge element of patriarchy is for women to be smaller, to be quieter and, stay in their lane. And that's how men prefer us. And therefore we should be that way. And something that I've started to realize through years of doing this work, a lot of the programming, like I was saying before, is coming from our moms because they were raised in a world where they had to please men literally for their safety. They couldn't have their own bank account. They couldn't buy a house. They couldn't start a business. Legally, they couldn't do these things. So they had to mold themselves into a shape that would be pleasing to men so they could have a place to live and have money and eat and live a nice life, either because their daddy or their husband let them. So much of the like what's appropriate and what's flattering stuff that we learned from our moms is stuff that they learned from men because they had no choice.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I want to dig into the dressing for the male gaze thing because I think a lot of times when people start thinking more about what they're going to wear, maybe they started dating again or went through a breakup. And I think that's a lot of times when people take a step back and I'm like, how do I want to dress? Who am I? And it brings out a side of us that's less like, who am I? And more like, how am I going to attract someone? And I know you've talked a lot about people pleasing and the line between dressing for you versus dressing for men. And how does that show up for women in dating?
Yeah, this is something I get asked about a lot and I have conversations with clients a lot. So in traditional like heterosexual dating, it's like you want to wear like a little sexy dress that's sexy, but it's not too sexy because you can't be slutty because that is bad, but you can't be unsexy. So unsexy that it's going to turn him off. So you have to show just the right amount of skin and also wear heels, but the heels can't be too high because you don't want to be too tall because then that's intimidating. Like we've all heard this. We all know these things. It's the speech from Barbie, all the things. And if you're dressing with all of that in mind, you're going to be so self-conscious on the date itself because you're not dressing authentically. You're putting on the character of like, this is, you know, Marissa on date. It's almost like, it's like you're cosplaying like, this is the Marissa that a man is going to find attractive. Not like, this is who I am. Do you like me? Yes or no? End of sentence. So when we're like dressing up in these roles to please other people, be that a potential date, a potential boss, you know, any kind of person you want approval from, the approval you're getting is not for actually who you are. It's similar to like that book from the 90s, like The Rules of like how you weren't supposed to like say certain things or you couldn't ask him out and all this stuff. And if you follow these rules, you will get married. Again, written by a boomer. Let's be so real. That's not the world we live in anymore. Fortunately, we're so lucky that, you know, we can have our own credit cards and homes and start businesses and be financially responsible for ourselves so we don't have to rely on a man. So if you're choosing a man, I think a lot of this does not apply in queer dating. I find like my queer clients, like these are not conversations we're having at all. It just like doesn't come up, which love that for them. Hope that is a future for the straight girls soon. So you're choosing someone to be your partner, someone who is going to see you and know you and understand you. Wearing something that doesn't feel authentically you is like if you went on the date and like just were quiet and listened to them talk and laughed at all their jokes and didn't say anything. It's the same thing. You're hiding who you really are in order to get their approval. But if you get their approval on a different person, then either you're stuck being that person forever, or you have to like slow play, introduce your real self and hope they don't notice. Like it's not setting you up for success and like finding someone who is going to make you happy.
Also think that the way that we dress on a date and our intention behind it also mirrors the intention of how we express ourselves and our intention behind dating. I think that the way that we dress and present ourselves mirrors the way that we're going to show up. But if you go in saying like, oh, I'm going to wear this because he might think I'm like this, or I'm this type of girl, or he might be more attracted and I might, you know, definitely increase the probability of a second date, that's also mirroring how you are expressing your personality and your interests. And then I think it gets really morphed because you're so focused on what does he think of me that you could end up a year down the road or 3 months into a relationship and be like, oh, wait, I don't even like him. Like my authentic self doesn't even like him.
Exactly. When you flip the script from like, what are they going to like to what do I like? It changes everything. Like it's, you know, clothing can be like a starting point for that. Or like I was explaining some of these other clients of mine who like fix everything, improve everything in their life, get really in touch with themselves, and then style is last. And that's why it feels so wrong. It's like, it all speaks to each other. I found like in my own life, I've been a full-time personal stylist for 4 years, but I had a whole corporate career before this. And one thing that I really hated about having corporate jobs was how much I felt like I was always just waiting on someone else's approval. Like, is my boss going to like send me a nice Slack approving of the thing I did? Or like, am I in trouble? And that was kind of always, I'm very like, you know, good student mentality, like eldest daughter with immigrant parents. It's like, I just was always like seeking approval from authority figures my whole life. And dressing in, you know, I've obviously always like been really in touch with my style and what I like, but only when I stopped having a boss and like broke that cycle of needing other people's approval did I really start dressing how I always meant to. Because I stopped being scared of what other people were going to think, because it no longer affected me being able to pay my bills. And that just like broke me open to like, shit, Like, other people's approval literally doesn't matter at all. And that changed how I do everything.
Shift, our mission is simple: to help women transform their lives by shifting the patterns that are keeping them stuck. Insight is powerful, but insight without action doesn't change your life. If you're navigating a breakup, anxiety, burnout, a career transition, grief, body image struggles, or you just have this feeling that you're meant for more, there's a version of you who you're ready to become, and we'd love to help you step into her. We do that in 2 ways through Shift. The first is through our one-on-one coaching, where we help you understand the patterns that have been running your life, build the skills to respond differently, and create the kind of lasting change that transforms your relationships, your career, your health, and the way you feel every day. The second is the Shift, our 21-day self-guided transformation program designed to help you change the emotional patterns beneath your health, relationships, career, and everyday life. Through daily lessons, guided somatic practices, journaling, and real-life application, you'll learn the Shift method and begin building new emotional patterns until they become your default. And if you're looking for ongoing support, our Shift membership launches this September. Through live coaching, guided practices, a supportive community, and a growing library of tools, you'll have everything you need to make emotional health something you practice, not just something you think about. Learn more at shiftinto.co.
It is so true. Like, especially I'm an eldest daughter as well, like how much that impacts. I've always done everything in my life to get that approval. And I do think actually you mentioning the corporate experience, I want to hear a little bit from you of like places where maybe there are some rules where you maybe do need to take other people into account a little bit. Like if you're in big law or you're at a certain type of company. And it's interesting because I do think even just like the slightly younger generation is less beholden to a lot of the norms that even I am at 31. But I also think in some places, it's maybe even doing them a little bit of a disservice because if you do show up to some of these jobs, the people you're working with have been in this career, sometimes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And is there a way you can show up as your authentic self while still being, adhering to some of the norms in the culture of your workplace or wherever it is you're going?
Yeah, I'm really glad you asked this question because I always feel like that's the next thing I want to say after the kind of like, who cares what anyone thinks about you, like, speech. Because yes, in my life, I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. I don't have a boss. I don't have, anyone I'm reporting to, but I know that's not true for most people. And yeah, like you mentioned, big law, like consulting in certain areas, like law especially, that's like the big one that always comes up. Like I have quite a few clients who are lawyers and they're like, these are my black and navy suits that I wear to court. And I'm like, yes, that's what you got to do. Actually, one of my lawyer clients told me something that made me sad and angry at the same time. She was showing me all her skirt suits and I was like, oh, I'm curious, like, in your outside of court life, even in the office, you wear pants a lot. Why skirt suits? She was like, oh, the male judges respond better to skirt suits. You just like got to do that. This was last year, maybe the year before.
That's wild.
So yeah, that sucks. But also she wants to be as good at her job as possible and give her clients like everything she can to get them the verdict they want. And she understands that like wearing a skirt is the way to do that. And that sucks that that's the system, but that is the system. So when you are in a system where other people have power and dressing a certain way is going to make a difference, like, unfortunately, you do have to do that. So it's really about like understanding kind of what the average is and like where's the top and bottom. So if like, let's say you're in tech, for example, I worked in tech for a few years. The average person is wearing like jeans and a t-shirt, like maybe a Patagonia, maybe it's like a button down over the t-shirt. Okay, that's the average. So that's where most people are going to be. But what's like the lowest? Like there are people in the office not getting fired that are wearing sweatpants or leggings. Okay, that's probably not what you want to do, but like no one's getting fired for doing that. Good to know. There are people in the office who are wearing like a nice blazer and more expensive jeans and, cool boots. Okay, that's kind of the top. So that's the range of acceptability. And then where you fit in from there is where you get to have some fun. So if you're someone who maybe you worked in like a more formal industry before, or you just feel better about yourself when you're getting more dressed up, wearing a full suit in the environment I just described would be really inappropriate and would not be a good look for you. because it shows that you don't understand what's going on around you. I actually had something really similar happen to me early in my career. My first job was at Condé Nast. Everything was, dresses, heels, like dressed to the nines every single day. And then I went to a startup and our office was like in a warehouse in Long Island City. And there were only 2 other women besides me. Jeans, sneakers, t-shirts, everyone, every day. And I showed up and wore heels for the first 3 weeks I worked there because I just had only ever worn heels to work. It like didn't compute for me that I could wear anything different. And I was like, oh, but I'm wearing jeans with heels. I'm so casual. I quickly got the memo and like switched to sneakers and was fine. But months later, as I like got really close with my coworkers, one of the girls told me that she and the other girl were the 2 girls who were the only ones that were there when I got there. At first, we're like, this girl's she's going to fail here. Like, she obviously doesn't get it. And the clothes were a huge part of that. I'm sure other things in my behavior were too, but I did not read the room and did not respond accordingly at first. And people didn't respect me, didn't get me, didn't think it was going to work because of that. So being really, really different from everyone else, be it in tone or formality, is not a good thing to do. So that's why I think understanding like what's the average, what's the top and what's the bottom, and then playing within that is really the way that you can still have fun and feel like yourself, but still fit in.
Have you, in working with clients, have you noticed change in other areas of their life as they start dressing as their authentic self? Like change in their career, change in their relationships, change in the way that they feel about themselves? Like, what are the trickle down effects?
Yeah, it's everything. It's so my initial package that I first work with clients in is like a 6 to 8 week container. So usually it's a little bit while we're working together, but then after the fact, I'll hear from them. And that's when the really big changes come in. But like while we're in that container, I will usually hear, maybe halfway through, they'll be like, oh, I wore that thing I told you I was scared of. And like, then I asked somebody out, or like, then I like talked to the big scary boss and felt so good in my outfit that like I had the confidence to do it. So it like starts to slowly happen, but then it's like a muscle. Like, dressing like yourself is something that you get more used to. At first it feels scary and it's exhilarating. It's like a roller coaster. Like it's like scary, but you also really want to do it. But then when you do it, it's really fun and you're proud of yourself for doing it. But then after you are doing it every day for a while, it's just a second nature to you. And that's really when the changes start to click, because you're actually becoming this person. You're not like trying them on and being scared about it.
It's so interesting how I think sometimes people think it's vapid maybe, or not, it's not them to like try. And I think what I love about what you're saying is that being your authentic self doesn't mean you're getting super dressed up every day or you're applying a ton of makeup or whatever. It's like whatever makes you feel good in your skin is going to have trickle down effects in the rest of your life. Because when you feel confident, that comes through. And I think that's just like a little bit of a different, like when I think about typically someone who would work with a stylist, it's like very glam. Mm-hmm. And so I think someone listening to this who maybe thinks, yeah, I'm just not like a big fashion person, or I'm not that into like looks and makeup or whatever, can still hear this and think, how can I think more about like, what does that mean to me? And how can I use that to be a little bit more confident?
Yeah, absolutely. And first, I just want to acknowledge what you were saying about people thinking it's vapid or like not important. That is patriarchy that lives within all of us, because men don't have to think about this stuff that much and it doesn't affect them that much. So us thinking about it or caring about it is stupid and unimportant. So that's where that comes from. But yeah, what's really interesting is a lot of times people actually get more casual after a work together, because when you don't know what to do, you overcompensate. So they're like, I don't look good. So like, I don't feel good about how I look. So I'm going to put on a thick layer of foundation, or like, I'm going to get some fancy status jewel. Like I'm going to get a Cartier Love bracelet. So, maybe my outfit doesn't look good, but like people know that I have taste and style, which like I don't know that having a Cartier love bracelet means that necessarily. Just as an example, like people will buy those like status objects or like the handbag of the season or whatever and wear more makeup and, get eyelashes and hair extensions and like all this stuff because they're like, well, that's one thing I know I can do that is like socially acceptable for someone like me. So my clothes don't work, but I have the other stuff. I guess that's fine. And then once they're in clothes that they're comfortable in, they just sort of like loosen up on the other things that they were doing to compensate for, be that like buying status objects or like doing a lot of beauty treatments that they think they have to do to look good.
To get kind of tactical for a second.
Yeah.
You're someone who can't, obviously if someone can't work with you or can't work with a stylist, you said you start with like a Pinterest board. Where I find personally, even though I love clothes, love fashion, Annie and I were joking about this, like I sometimes use certain brands as almost my stylist because I like the way their clothes fit. I like the vibe. And I find myself like, rationalizing almost spending a little bit more to shop at like Reformation or Veronica Beard because it's like in my mind, they're doing a lot of the styling for me.
Yeah.
But it's like, how can someone go from kind of having an idea of what they like to actually building a wardrobe that makes sense, not spending so much money on like stuff they're never going to wear again or like trendy things? Like, how can you actually build that wardrobe in a way that doesn't totally break the bank or make you like go on an endless shopping excursion?
Yeah. So when a lot of people think about like, oh, I'm going to fix my style. So I'm just going to like buy all the stuff this season and then this will be my style now. Like that's actually not how it works. Style is a journey the same way. Like think about like your life 10 years ago. You didn't just like stay in that apartment and stay in that job and stay in that relationship and then just like, I'm done. Like style is a journey you will continue to go on your whole life, which also means there's no rush to get there. Like, yes, my clients who hire me, we do a lot of work in a small amount of time and that does last them for a while. But if you're DIYing it, I would actually say it's better to go slower because you might not understand your style that well when you're starting out. So if you are like, okay, I'm fixing this and you buy a bunch of stuff and then like 3 months later, you're like, I'm only wearing 30% of this. The other 70 was like, me getting convinced by a salesperson or like me not really thinking about how this works into my life, things like that. So I think it's so much better to start buying just a few pieces at a time, integrating those into your life, seeing how that works, and then continuing on from there. Because what you think you should wear or that could work for your life, it needs a road test when you don't have a professional. So slow and steady definitely wins the race when it comes to this. It's like, it feels so fun to like, oh, I'm going to have a makeover and like change my whole personality all at once. But like long term, if you're doing that without the help of a professional, it's not a good idea.
How often do you recommend a closet clean out?
I love this question. So there are two ways to do it. What I actually recommend is to do one like really good one, hire air quotes, like it could be your mom or your friend or your partner or whatever, have another person there and really go through everything with a savage, like, do I feel great in this? Do I wear this? Is this who I want to be? Does this feel good? And having the other person is also important because sometimes people hold on to things because they're like, well, I spent a lot of money on it. Or like, oh, I used to wear this all the time. Or like whatever story you're telling yourself about the item, the other person doesn't know that story. And even if you tell them, they don't care. They can be more objective than you can about the thing. Or they're like, I hang out with you 3 times a week. Or like, we're coworkers. I haven't seen you wear that in years. Like, I know you're not wearing it. Get rid of it. So doing one like really thorough closet edit. And then from there, just keep a bag in your closet. And every time you're getting dressed, if you put something on and don't feel good in it, drop it in the bag. Or if like you notice that you keep passing by a certain top and keep not wanting to wear it, drop it in the bag. It's so that's what I personally do. Like I always have a bag going and I just like put stuff in it every now and then. I think it's so much easier because people get like, they're like, oh, I need to do it, but I don't have time. I don't want to recruit someone. Like it's an easy thing to put off. Whereas if you're just continually doing it the same way you would like, when the berries go moldy in your fridge, you just throw them away. You're not going to keep them in there because you spent $12 on them and they're organic, right? Like it's the same thing.
I love that because I try to do that like once a season or once a year, but there are tops and things skate by that I've like tried on a lot of times, but like I'm convinced I'm going to eventually wear it. It's like if you keep putting something on and it doesn't look good on you, just get rid of it and you save yourself the whole headache of like trying it on and feeling awkward.
Exactly.
Are there any kind of like staple pieces that you recommend that people, just if someone's again starting from nothing, if you're what would you go and try to buy first?
You're going to hate my answer to this question because my answer is there is no answer. I think that what makes style fun and what makes style really work is when it's really personal. So instead of recommending pieces, I would say think about what are the categories of your life and what are the requirements for those categories. Like I think for a lot of people, a few great pairs of jeans, a few pairs of non-jean, like more casual than a trouser, but like, a corduroy pant, something like that will probably be the answer. But like, there are people out there who don't like to wear pants or are more comfortable in dresses. So for that person, it might be, some like casual dresses, some more formal dresses, some work appropriate dresses. It's really about like what you like and what you need for your actual lifestyle. So thinking about like what pieces you're going to get the most wear out of is really where you should start.
I wanted to ask you about your leap to starting this business. Like had you always been into personal style?
Yes, absolutely. I have been this person since I was a child. Like some of my earliest memories are sitting on the floor in my mom's closet and pointing at stuff and being like, wear this with this. And like, that's ugly. Get rid of it. And like, I was the dorm room in college that everyone would come to like pregame and get ready. And I'd look at photos the next day and be like, 8 of the 15 girls in that photo are wearing something that's mine. So I've always been this person. I studied fashion in college, moved to New York with the intention of working in fashion, and then got a job through someone I know that there was no way I would turn down, and fell down a rabbit hole of accidentally working in media and tech instead of fashion. And 12 years later, found myself in a job I was so miserable and overwhelmed and like constantly seeking approval that I wasn't getting. I lost 10 pounds in a month from stress because I was so nauseous I couldn't eat. And at that point, it was just like, okay, this is not a life. What do we do? What do we do now? And I had actually started my business as a side hustle, like really just for fun, just like as a hobby. I didn't think it would be something I could take full time. And that was just kind of a turning point at which it was like, you have one precious life. Like, what are you doing?
So you took the jump. Go ahead, Marissa.
Do you think that listening to you describe that, it's like you've always been in touch with your personal style? Do you think that style is something that everyone has and some people are just more in touch with what theirs is? Is it a skill set that you cultivate? Is it something that maybe some people are like, just maybe shouldn't worry about it too much? Like this is something you can outsource. How do you think about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's actually really similar to cooking. Like anyone could learn how to cook if they want to.
Yeah.
A lot of people choose not to and they get meal kits or make their partner do it or just like get takeout because they don't care. And then there are people who are like, my mom in her 60s decided to learn how to cook for the first time ever and now is an incredible cook just because she felt like it. And because she was, retired and it was COVID and she was bored. It's personal style, I think, is the exact same way. Like anyone can get good at it. Anyone can get really focused in and make incredible creative outfits if they want to put effort towards it. And not everybody does. And that is absolutely fine. But I always say like style is like food in that when you taste something, you know right away if you like it or not. When you put a new bite of food in your mouth, you're not like, well, like, do the other people at this table think I should like it? And therefore, should I like it even though it kind of tastes bad to me? No, you're just like, ew or yum. It is like with food, we're that instinctual. Whereas there's a lot more tied up in style, all the approval stuff that we've been talking about and the fitting in and all of that. So it's very easy to suppress and be like, I don't know. I mean, I know this is what the other girls are wearing, so I guess I'll wear it. But you know, if you're listening to yourself, you know if you like something or not. So it's a matter. Yeah, yes, absolutely. It's just a matter of like, are you listening or are you just like throwing something on your body and going along to get along?
And do you trust yourself enough?
Yes.
If you're going back to the body image conversation, it's like, do I trust myself enough that if I follow what feels authentic to me and the way that I dress, the way that I style myself, the way that I do my hair, the things that I say yes to, the foods that I don't eat or do eat because I like them or don't like them, do I trust that I'll be safe in the world? Like, I honestly think so much of it comes down to that. And I think conformity and buying what everyone else is wearing, or it's hysterical. I live in Boston and absolutely no shade, but Southie is like where all the college kids live. And it's so funny because when you go out, like when you drive through Southie and it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night and everyone's out at the bars, there's lines. And I'm not kidding. Every girl's in the same outfit. Everyone. And it's, that was me also when I was 23. So again, no shade or shame.
Well, I think it's gotten worse. I think it's gotten worse.
And like Zara, it's like everything that was on the runway is now in a $40.99 version form in Zara. And like that is what everyone wears that season. And I think so much of it comes down to self-trust. And like, if I embody my authentic self and if I'm confident enough to show that to the world, do I trust that I will be accepted, loved, safe, worthy? But I think the cool thing is when you are your authentic self, if things leave, they were going to leave anyway, you can just expedite the timeline.
Exactly. It's very much rejection is protection. Like when you think about dating, it's like the most obvious example. If you show up in an outfit that you walk out the door and you're like, I am me, I am the most Gab that has ever gabbed on planet Earth. I feel so good. And you walk in and the date sees you and is like, ew, that was going to happen eventually. And you just saved yourself 2, 3 dates, months, years, who knows? But by showing this person who you are immediately, if they don't like you, they were never going to like you. So you have saved yourself time and energy wasted on someone who is not for you.
100%. I have one other tactical question for you on this topic. What is your advice for, there's some people that say get up every day, no matter if you're going to the office, you're working from home, and get dressed. Like wear something that you feel good in. Do you find that is something that people should do? And does that have a positive effect on their day and productivity and how they feel in their skin?
My answer to this question is different. Most stylists say that. And like a lot of my stylist friends like really do embody that. They're like wearing jeans to work from home. For me personally, I feel like so blessed that on the days I work from home and don't have meetings, I can wear PJs all day and I feel great about that. I think you're like one or the other. And I think if you don't know which you are, you should try it out. Like I am just a person who really like I will not wear hard pants in my home. That's a hard rule. Like even like when I have friends over, I have like cuter, comfy clothes that I wear, but I'm just like, I won't do it. It makes me feel like happy and comfortable and like the princess that I deserve to be comfortable in the comfiest clothes that exist in my home. There are also people for whom that will make them depressed and like they do really need to put jeans on. And if you don't know which one you are, just like do a week of one and do a week of the other and see how it feels. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer on the whole. It's really just like about your personal thing. That said, if you are in my camp and you like just love to wear the most comfortable things ever, don't wear like leftover t-shirts from college that have holes in them and like don't feel good. Like buy yourself some really nice, comfy, special, like good feeling things and colors you like. it doesn't have to be so binary of like, I'm wearing a great outfit or like I'm wearing actual garbage.
I was going to say that has been life-changing for me, was getting rid of all of my mismatched hodgepodge old t-shirts and gross shorts, whatever, and having like nice, comfy, cute loungewear. Because I'm in the same boat. I'm not going to put on a pair of jeans to sit and work from home all day. That would feel horrible to me. But if I can put on a cute, like comfy set that feels like put together to me and nice.
So notice if I'm wearing old random clothes that like aren't very nice and are super worn out, I notice I spill more things. I'm messier. I like delay doing my dishes longer. Like this could just be a me thing, but like if I wear something that I think is really cute and like even if it's super comfy, it's really cute. It's nice. I want to keep it clean. I notice like my apartment's cleaner. I drink more water. Like there really is a trickle down effect to how it's like how you take care of yourself.
Exactly. Because you're signaling to yourself, even if I am here alone in this apartment, I am worthy. I look good. I feel good. I'm going to clean up because this is the standard I'm setting across my whole life.
Totally. Gab, you're amazing. This was such a fun conversation. I want to leave. We ask every guest this question. What is one thing you do every day to feel your best? It can be style related or totally not style related.
That's a great question. This is so basic actually of an answer, but I make my bed every day and I feel like I started doing it in college and because I had like my sleep got really out of whack and I was taking a lot of naps. So then I was like, no, stop, make the bed every day. I just feel like it's like what we were just talking about starting your, like showing yourself that you're taking care of yourself and what your standards are. Like, even if no one's going to be in my home besides me and my husband, it just like makes me feel good that it's clean. And like, I'm also, I'm a clean freak. My standard for my home is like, someone could randomly drop by and I won't be embarrassed. Like it's always clean as if someone was going to come over. That just makes me feel really good. And I think that like you were saying really sets the tone for everything.
Amazing. I love that. And where can everybody find you?
Yes, I am a wardrobe editor in all of the places. So my website is wardrobeeditor.com. I'm wardrobe editor on Instagram, TikTok, and Substack as well.
Amazing. And we will link all of that in the show notes. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It was so fun to chat with you, and we will see you again soon.
Thank you both. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
Bye.
If something in today's conversation resonated with you, take a moment to pause and notice where it's sitting within you.
Living in alignment is not about fixing yourself or becoming someone new. It's about listening, trusting, and slowly coming home to who you already are.
Thank you for spending this time with us and for being part of this community.
If you enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who might resonate with it too. See you next time.